Hey guys, SK here, back with another Clash Royale video. Hope you guys are all doing well. Today I have one of your most beloved special guests making a return to the channel. Once more we are bringing on Betfas. As you can see, he's currently top 14 in the entire world using 3.0 Xbow cycle. He's one of the most well-known, consistent, and decorated Xbow cycle players of all time. And in this video, I'm just going to be bringing him on the channel, sharing some of his replays that got him this high on ladder. I decided to reach out and ask him for them so I can teach you guys more about the deck and his playstyle. So I'll just be going over his gameplay with my commentary. All I really have to say, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let's get right into the matches. Alright, so in today's video I have Betfas showcasing a bunch of his top ladder games against the best in the world. He pushed a little bit higher now, he's almost 3,400 on ladder, and his first game is up against Luminary, who as you can see is number 5 in the world right now, with a number 5 ladder finish, number 2 global tournament finish, so he is honestly one of the best Mortar bait players of all time. And he is currently playing this very deck, the Mortar bait deck that you guys are probably familiar with if you've been playing any Clash Royale recently. This is probably the best deck in the entire game right now. The most broken and boosted deck, and what makes things worse for us is that they do counter us directly. They have a cannon cart, they have the arrows, they have the mortar miner. It's just a real pain. The biggest problem about this matchup, I would say, is the cannon cart and the arrows. So we're going to see exactly how Betfas deals with this matchup. I'm really excited to bring him back on the channel. Honestly, he always performs well with 3.0 cycle, no matter what the meta is. It's pretty difficult to comprehend sometimes because this level of consistency is just really years of talent, experience, and dedication to the deck that you can't just get. You kind of just build it up over time. You don't just learn it randomly or study for it. You just gain it through literal years of experience again. So we see a pretty aggressive Xbow push, and really fortunate there. The cannon cart was stopped perfectly in his tracks and barely doesn't get into Xbow range. In the meantime, archers clean up the mortar on the right side, and as you can see, Luminary here is not going for any of his bait cards like Goblin Gang or Spear Goblins on top of the Xbow, because Betfas does have a log, so he knows that if he just goes for that, he will actually just log everything. And wow, really bad missed arrows by Luminary. I think he tried to hit both the Knight and the Xbow because the Knight was actually counter-pushing too, but kind of got the worst of both worlds there, and Betfas gets a really nice early start to this match, getting a 1400 damage lock, which is compounded by the fact that Luminary is playing with the Cannoneer, which does mean that he actually takes more damage overall, or doesn't take more damage, but he just kind of spawns with less HP, you know, because all these Mortar bait decks are running Cannoneer right now. It's actually one of the most overpowered tower troops in the game, believe it or not, and that's actually why this deck itself is so popular, because it has so many swarm cards, and that itself does well against Cannoneer. But we see a mini Xbow lock. We get 2 ticks. In my book, that is a lock, and we're going to take a bit of batch chip in the left, but otherwise, Betfas basically with double HP on his towers compared to his opponents here, which is a great start, because again, this matchup is really bad. It's almost impossible to break through in my opinion, because they have the cannon cart, they have the mortar on defense, and they have a bunch of bait. So you know, you log a Goblin Gang, they have a fully charged up Skeles King plus Spear Goblins to throw your way, and you can't really do anything about that. The other big problem about this matchup is actually the bats, because Betfas, believe it or not guys, is running Ice Spirit. Like, I thought he'd be running Electro Spirit like most people in this meta, because everyone's playing this Mortar bait deck mainly, but he's actually running with the Ice Spirit, which is crazy to me. And look at that patience on Betfas. I think it'd be very easy to just go for an Evo Tesla to shut the Mortar down, but instead he saves it for this massive Skeles King ability, and that's going to be a huge defense in both sides. Unfortunately though, that does mean the Mortar in the right is going to lock on, and Luminary here is going to actually pick up this Tesla on the Mortar. So Betfas forced to go Evo Archers on the Mortar. Luminary will let it go. He actually probably could have gone arrows immediately to get more of a response out, but I guess he didn't assume that would work out. Anyways, he's kind of even on elixir. He didn't want to go down too much elixir. Does get a bit of a connection, but now the name of the game in this matchup for Betfas is going to be defensive Xbows. And guys, I will tell you right now, I should have said this earlier in the video as well, but it's still pretty early, but this video is going to be your biggest guide on how to beat Mortar, in my opinion, because this Mortar bait deck is everywhere, and I have 3 amazing replays to share with you guys against this deck. Betfas literally beat this deck 3 times in a row with 3.0 Xbow, with Ice Spirit, not Electro Spirit again, so I really don't understand how he did it. I actually really hate this matchup, and it does make me pretty upset to face so often on ladder, so I really do want to see how Betfas actually deals with this matchup, and I think this is just going to be a great game overall to showcase, and all of them, of course. This one is a pretty fortunate start for Betfas again, with that single elixir lock. I think this matchup, you do want to play pretty aggressively in single elixir. I noticed that's a trend that he does, but as you can see, one of the biggest tips and takeaways for this matchup as we head into double elixir elixir is going to be these defensive Xbows, because the one structural weakness of this deck is that it lacks a big spell. It doesn't actually really need one, honestly, but Xbow can kind of take advantage of that by going for defensive Xbows, as you can see. And look at this patience out of Betfas, not going for a knight on the cannon cart, instead just kind of conserving, and goes arrows, predicting the arrows right there. Really good arrows, or archers, excuse me. He goes arrows on the archers, or on the Xbow rather, to kill it, but Betfas goes for really nice archers, knowing that arrows are probably coming down to clean up the Xbow, and that just makes sure a mortar does not lock onto the tower. And again, he's just playing so passive with these defensive Xbows, and I think he would be playing a bit more aggressive if he didn't have that early lead, but I still do see him going for a lot of defensive Xbows in this matchup. I think that's something I want to have to try and do myself more often, because I try and break through a lot. It honestly never works out. I get frustrated, but that just might be the name of the game with these defensive Xbows, and just kind of chilling, taking advantage of the fact that they can't really break through. And if you can defend perfectly, you can spell Skeles. You can see he's going for the fireball. He's going to get one more fireball down. I think in this matchup, you definitely want to get 2 fireballs down at the last 20 seconds, and yeah, Luminary here gives up. So beautifully played game by Betfas. Honestly, he kind of won in single with that amazing sequence, and Luminary kind of misses arrows, but still, Betfas controlled the game perfectly. Really nice to see. And again, we have plenty more mortar bait matchups to show you guys today, so stay tuned. Don't go anywhere if you are struggling with this deck, as you should be, because it's a bad match for 3.0. We'll see exactly how Betfas beats it in today's video. Alright, so heading into the next game against Remanure, and this is against Goblin Drill, the Remy Ellie version. As you can see, Remanure also a really good player, currently top 50 in the world. He's usually pretty high up on ladder consistently, and funnily enough, his name is Remanure, and he plays the Remy Ellie deck, but I really despise this deck as well. Like, I honestly just do. This deck is just ridiculous. Magic Archer, Minor Wallbreakers has always consistently been one of my most hated matchups in this game. If you know me, if you're like a real fan, if you're active in the Discord server, and you hear me and Chair talk about it sometimes, then you know exactly how I feel about this deck, especially the new versions that run Evo Drill and even Goblin Demolisher here. Speaking of Demolisher, look at that, how ridiculous that is. It survives on 1 HP. I actually do think it needs a nerf in that sense. I think the lifetime is a bit too long on that suicide mode. I think it should drain much faster, but anyways, loss of early damage taken. Prediction Tesla by Betfas here. You can see that is what comes down in order to try and predict a Magic Archer snipe the Knight. Remanure just goes with the Patience instead, and this is actually pretty bad. I mean, being down 1,000 damage in this matchup is already a pretty bad sign, and so I think this matchup is pretty bad because there's simply no way to break through. They have the Knight and the Bomb Tower, which are two really good counters to Xbow. You know, they can basically stall your Xbow forever in this matchup, but then what makes it even worse is they have a Goblin Demolisher, which is actually one of the best counters to Xbow in the entire game, honestly. Really good Knight by Betfas, so I think we'll see a Fireball as well on the Knight plus Demolisher. We do, and now look at Remanure's cycle. Really perfect Ice Spirit as well. That's gonna jump and reset the Demolisher and actually make sure it doesn't explode on the bow. So because of that, Betfas does get a nice 400 or so damage lock in the left, and he's actually up elixir too because Remanure was forced to play the log after the fact. So I think Betfas can go for split archers and then maybe try and go in again. But yeah, I definitely want to see how Betfas plays against all these matchups, guys, because it's really just a pain of breaking through. And on another note, if you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to like and subscribe. I have been doing so good with my live streams recently, putting in so much work and effort, and I'm still trying my best to make long form content too. It's hard to manage my time with university being so busy now that the semester has started, but I do try my best. So if you guys enjoy, you know, the extra effort of me bringing people like Betfas onto the channel, taking time to record, analyze his gameplay for you guys that I feel like no one else would really get to see because he doesn't really record his own gameplay and no one else would post this, would appreciate any kind of support and love. Much appreciated, guys. But back to the video, we do see a pretty easy defense by Remanure again. Just low bomb tower is one of my most hated parts of this as well, because they just play a bomb tower. Magic Archer, with the worst aim possible. I would make a reference about the guy. That would be very tasteful. So let's just say he missed a tower multiple times and got no hits. But Betfas is still struggling to break through right now. That's the problem. I feel like he needs to make something happen on offense, but we're not going to see it because he just does have too many counters, does Remanure, to the bow. Mainly the Demolisher, actually. I mean, Knight Bomb Tower is already super annoying, but at least you can pressure and they can't kill the Xbow if they like just stall it out forever. But the Demolisher just enables a way to stall the Xbow out and kill it at the same time, because it's actually a great counter. You know, you DPS it down, and then they just kind of get a free explosion on your Xbow, and it's just ridiculous, especially when tanked for by a Knight. Now we finally have a good sequence going. Look at that dual lane pressure, guys. Evo Archer surviving in the left. Log on the Demolisher plus the Marcher. That is such a nice play by Betfas. Does actually get the Knight down. If that Knight did not come down, I think he would have gotten a lock there because the Marcher was logged out of range. So really well played by Betfas anyways. And we will still see a small lock. I think Remanure maybe could have gone for a NATO to kill that bow, but he didn't. So Betfas going to get a tiny lock. And I want to point out, guys, he's actually going same lane in this matchup. Really nice fireball on the Mortar plus tower. Barely sneaking that one through. Think we will see an Evo Tesla on offense here? No, we won't. So really good patience, actually. If it was me, I think I would have Evo Tesla'd there. But instead, Betfas choosing to stay passive, stay patient, save his Tesla to snipe stuff like the Magic Archer instead. And we're going to get a pulse on this Demolisher. Probably should not explode on the Tesla. It still will because it's one of the most broken cards in the game. Oh my god. But you can see Betfas is still kind of holding strong, and I do think it's interesting that he's going same lane. This is going to be some perfect drill defense, as we learned from Titan, with Log on the first drill, and then you go cycle cards, Archers, or Knight on the others. So Betfas will Fireball cycle on the Demolisher, and then Tesla to predict the Magic Archer really good, and Ice Spirit too, so no hits again. So really important, guys, to predict Magic Archers in this matchup, and now it's actually pretty even. I mean, Remenor still has a lead, but Betfas does see a way through, right, with the Fireball cycle. Low Evo Archers come down, Skeles for the drill as well. Knight for the Demolisher on the other side, and that Xbow is going to stay alive. I think we might see an Xbow down with these Evo Archers and Tesla. I mean, why not, right? Yeah, that's a really good Xbow. So Log to kill the Evo Archers, and then Betfas will probably take a Fireball on the bomb tower, and actually the Knight as well. That's a lot of value. In the meantime, Demolisher kind of killing the bow. But notice this aggression, guys. Remenor goes for a drill on defense and actually does not get it down in time, so that's going to be a good game. Oh my god. Looks like he was kind of panicking on defense there with a bad cycle. And Betfas just steals it from him right there with a lock in the last second. So did not give up. Did not actually go for many defensive exits. I think he went for like 1 or 2. But mainly it was just perfect defense and spell cycle. And then a lock at the last minute. But you can see even though he was pressuring a lot, he did spell cycle throughout his pressure. And that was a big part of how he got damaged. So really nice win against, I would say, definitely a hard counter. Really bad matchup. So very impressive. Alright everyone, we have the next game, which is going to be against Royal Hogs Earthquake. As I said, we do have some more Pigs EQ gameplay coming for you guys, so sorry, not Pigs EQ. We have more Mortar Bait gameplay coming, so stay tuned. Don't go anywhere if you want to learn about that matchup. There are 2 more games against top players with that deck. In the meantime, we have another win against Pigs EQ, which is actually kind of a quintessential deck. A cycle deck in the meta. Like, this deck has very little weaknesses. I would say that only 2 ones are number 1, kind of bad air defense, and number 2, no mini tank, but it can circumvent both of those pretty easily with nice gameplay. Like against Lava Hound, Ian still wins even though it's a bad matchup because good queen protection, good cycling, and then against like Mega Knight decks, you can still defend well with perfect micro. So this deck is pretty much expected to always be in the meta, guys. It's pretty niche. I don't think it's like everywhere at all right now, but I think it does beat that Mortar Bait deck. Because, you know, it's Pigs EQ with a fast cycle and a delivery. And then it also does kind of always stick around. It's not, like, popular in the sense that everyone's running it, but it never fully dies. I always say Ian, like, bring it back once every few months and finishing number 1 in global tournament or something like that with this deck. So, again, it is very important to know how to deal with this deck, and here's the most annoying play that a cycle player can make against you as an Xbow player. They go for this high cannon. You just don't know what to do against it, right? So let's see what Betfas does. He's going to go Knight the back, split Archers, then he's going to go for the Xbow in the middle. I actually really like that Xbow in the middle. We get a really high value Fireball as well. Unfortunately, that early Queen by the opponent is going to get a lot of value and actually kill the Xbow entirely, but I do still like what we saw to Betfas. We see the Ice Spirit plus, or yeah, Skeles Ice Spirit Log on the Pigs to get a nice defense instead of going for a last minute Tesla, and the opponent here does get a really nice connection with the Pigs, forcing out a Knight as well because really good Evo Ice Spirit. Unfortunately, Betfas is now down 1300 because I guess that Xbow is a bit too aggressive. I mean, the Xbow itself was okay, but the Fireball was a bit aggressive because Betfas is kind of down Elixir, and then nice punish came through. I think we will see a high Tesla to snipe this Queen, or maybe even Evo Archers. I don't know. Would he want to waste the Evo Archers on the Queen? I'm not sure. Let's see. He is actually going to do that. So Archer's opposite lane. I love that play, guys. Look at that play by Betfas. That is so clean, actually, because the Queen would actually kill them if you played them same lane. That's what I would have done. But look at that kind of 10,000 IQ play. Opposite lane to snipe the Queen, still forcing out the ability, and they stay alive, forcing out a Log as well. So just really efficient gameplay out of Betfas here. Knight the back opposite. We'll see a Fireball plus Skeletons on these Pigs to full counter. Notice that Fireball does not fully kill them, and it'll actually take 2 tower shots to kill the Pigs afterwards. So you do still want to go for something else in addition to your Fireball, usually like an Ice Spirit or Skeles. And Betfas does get a Log because the opponent here kind of played his Ice Spirit a bit too late or misplaced it. I think it was misplaced, or either way, bit of damage coming back, so not really a big lead, but nice Fireball as well. This time no cycle card played because it's only 3 Pigs, not 4, I guess. He does want to save a bit for this Queen. And look at this play, guys. One of Betfas' favorite plays as well is stacking Archers in general. Like, normally against a deck like this, they have EQ Log, right? Or against, like, say, Xbow even, you have Fireball Log. So Betfas really just choosing to stack archers opposite lane, get a lot of value out of that, and basically the opponent is forced to spell them out or he can't kill them, and then they're just going to kind of sit there and be annoying. So I do like that play by him. Log on defense, Ice Spirit on defense too. Really good micro. Notice, guys, Betfas just naked fireball the tower a little bit ago. That's a very interesting play. He's going to do it again, or he's going to Xbow, because for me, personally, I'd be pressuring with Xbows in this matchup, but I guess Betfas has different ideas. Literally just naked fireball on the tower. We'll see the Evo Archers low. Log as well. Evo Archer is one of the best parts of this matchup, guys, for Expo. Like, they have only a delivery to counter. So if you can keep the Evo Archers alive, like, look at that. Look at the Archer in the opposite lane, sniping that Queen to kill it. Then we see Tesla Knight. We probably will see an Expo as well in a sec here, because we have a really nice counter push. Opponent will have to defend really well. I mean, takes a bit of power shot damage in the other side. Pigs will come, get fireball down. Skeles on the left, and that's just going to force out an Earthquake, plus a pre-log to try and clip this Ice Spirit. And it does! Look at that pre-log, guys. That's going to win Betfas the game, actually, because, I mean, that Ice Spirit was kind of just there to stall out. Betfas predicted it with the log, and that prediction is everything. That's going to win him the game, actually. That's literally going to win him the game. That is insane, man. So that's going to be GG's. Fireball on defense here, and now, I mean, with the 700 damage lead, that's all you need against this deck to win. So basically, Betfas just has to perfect defend against all these pigs, and then he's going to win even if the opponent spams Spell Cycle, which you know they're going to do. Offensive Expo actually does come down because the Evo Tesla is doing a pretty good job. Fireball on the pigs with the help of the Knight will definitely full counter. And next we get another lock because the opponent was spread a bit too thin, playing too aggro, so pretty much perfect gameplay by Betfas passing Elixir, guys. He did have a bit of a bad start, but after that he had really good defense, really good utilization of his Evo Archers. I think that was one of the biggest things about this match, and that was a perfect game against Royal Hogs Earthquake. Really well played. Alright, guys, keeping it going, we have this game against Brian, who is another top Mortar bait player, and we're going to see exactly how Betfas wins this matchup. This is not going to be the same case as before against Luminary, where Luminary just kind of lost in the first 1.5 minutes, with Betfas kind of outplaying him, and he also did miss the arrows, which was pretty bad, honestly. But this game's going to be a bit different, right, because I think Betfas does not win in the first 1.5 minutes. Again, though, look at this. Aggression early on in the match. Mortar comes down. Betfas goes Knight opposite to tank with a Split Archer helping kill the Mortar. And then offensive Expo, because if the opponent overcommits to that Mortar, Betfas will pretty much get a nice offensive sequence. Unfortunately, the Skeles King ability, like I said, if you log the Goblin Gang, they have a Skeles King ability that you don't really have much of a response for. If Betfas had an E-Spirit, then maybe that would be different, but he is unfortunately the Ice Spirit. I actually don't know why. I'm not entirely sure why he's doing that, but still, I mean, really impressive to even be winning these at all. And by the way, guys, before I forget, Betfas did actually give me some advice on this matchup. I asked him, you know, you always beat Mortar, and I thought it was a hard counter. How do you beat it? How do you have, like, or do you have any tips against it that I can include in the video? And he said, He said, don't worry, I'll read his exact words for you guys. Don't worry, if you always win by cycling more Evos, Tesla defenses are easier, and always take advantage of the Evo Archers, and attack with that. If you don't do that against that matchup, you lose 100% of the time. So, bit of interesting discussion by Betfas. A little bit difficult to understand exactly what he meant by some of that, but what I got from that and what I'm taking away is that you want to cycle a lot of evolutions, especially Teslas and Archers. I think Tesla is a huge one because, you know, the Evo Tesla Pulse effect is one of the best things you can have against this deck, whether it's the Swarm, the Skeles King ability, or just in general. Like, it's just really nice to have, especially on offense, too. So, cycling Teslas are good. And he also says Evo Archers and attack with the Evo Archers, especially. Like, right now, actually, right as I read that out, he does go in with the Evo Archers on the left with the bow, and the Skeles on the right with that dual lane pressure again. Dual lane pressure, guys, very big component of 3.0 Xbow cycle at the top level. You've seen Titan do this all the time in my Titan videos. We will probably see a Fireball. No, we won't. We'll see a Tesla on the Mortar. And I think Brian kind of messed up by not going Evo Bats right away. He could have stalled that Tesla out. Nonetheless, this is still looking really sketchy, but Knight does come down. I don't know how, dude. Betfas makes this look so seamless. He took, like, literally 0 damage from that push, maybe like 1 minor hit the whole game, and he was, or the whole push, and he was down Elixir, down overall, and he just somehow survives with the Ice Spirit, man. I don't get it. Will we see a defense Expo now? We will not, because I think he probably was planning to do that, and then the opponent went for the Mortar on offense. I feel like Betfas had Expo selected. Maybe he was going to go for a defensive one, but anyways, we'll see a beautiful Evo Tesla. As you can see, he is utilizing his Evos so perfectly, guys, and you might see an Expo come down because he has Evo Archers in cycle 2. I think he's basically sequencing his plays to revolve around his Evos, if that makes sense, and he's honestly doing really well. Knight to catch the cannon cart. Evo Archers will melt to force out the arrows. Ice Spirit Skeles for the Miner, and if Brian did not go for those bats, that would have been a dead Mortar, or that would have been a dead Miner, and that would have been a lock. So take note of all of Betfas' plays, guys. All these top players like Brian, Luminary, they are not really making many mistakes. They will like over defend to make sure the Expo doesn't get a lock. But if you play like Betfas is playing, I guarantee you against like worse Mortar players, because there are a lot of players that are just picking up this deck because it's boosted and broken. They're not necessarily really good at the deck. Then you will get a lot of success. For example, I feel like a bad Mortar player would not have gone bats 3, would have assumed that the Miner would fully counter the Expo, and yeah, would have gotten a lock there. Really nice pre-Tesla at the bridge. I think it was maybe predicting a Mortar or just setting up with a pre-Tesla in general, which does actually help out against those bats, which were evolved, which are a big problem for this deck again. And now we see the high Evo archers out of arrows range, I believe. Yes, really well played again. Notice, guys, Betfas is actually stacking his archers more often than not in this matchup, I feel. Like, he's splitting them sometimes, right? Split at the start, going Expo with them. But he's also stacking them a lot and getting a lot of value out of that. We will see the Evo archers once more on offense here, as well as that really nice side Tesla placement to ignore the cannon cart and snipe the Mortar instead. So notice this, guys, Betfas has taken like 800 damage the whole game. I don't know how he's been defending so well and pressuring at the same time. It's actually so impressive, and he caught almost every single Miner. This one does not get caught, but it's okay. Notice the fireball cycle subtly, by the way. If you go same lane this matchup, which I guess you can do, like Betfas is doing that this game, then you can fireball log on the Mortars, hit the tower with that, and actually get a pretty good sequence overall. Miners does not get caught once more, so Betfas kind of slipping at the end here, missing a lot of Miner catches, but it is still looking really good for him. One more fireball does come down, and we will see a last one, I'm pretty sure. We'll see like an Ice Spirit for these bats, maybe a Knight to stall and tank, and then a fireball log on the tower. Yes, we will. The bat does get on the tower, but the fireball log is going to be enough. Very well played by Betfas, beautifully controlled. Even Brian can't help but give a good game, because, again, that's a bad matchup, and that was literally perfect control of that matchup the entire game. That is so impressive. So really nice to see. Very well played by Betfas. Alright guys, into our next game against Kimchi77. What did I tell you guys? We have a lot of Mortar gameplay for you today, and we have the third game right here. So 3 straight wins against this Mortar bait deck. This is, again, one of the worst matchups in the meta for 3.0, I'd say. Especially if you have the Ice Spirit, not the Electric Spirit. I actually do not understand the dedication. Like, I do understand the dedication, but I don't really understand the success with the dedication of still running Ice Spirit and beating decks like these. But it is Betfas, you know, you can't really ever get confused or surprised about it. So pre-Tesla into the Skelly King. I guess that's the play he wanted to make. Really interesting by Brian here, going for the, or sorry, Kimchi. You just beat Brian. Going for the cannon cart bats and early Skelly King ability. What is this aggression, man? This is crazy. We'll see a low log on everything. Ice Spirit for the cart, and then a set of archers too is necessary. And this is still, dude, this is actually really stupid in my opinion. Like, look at that. He just spammed the entire game, and he's getting rewarded for it. Like, he spammed his entire bar at the bridge, and he's actually going to get like 1,000 damage, if not more. That's like almost 1,500 damage. That's actually 1,700 damage, bro. That actually kind of makes me mad, because that is kind of stupid. Like, he didn't even do anything special. He went cannon cart bats at the bridge, then Skelly King Goblin Gang ability Miner, and he got a lot of damage, because it's just a rough matchup overall, man. I feel like that was kind of painful to watch. But, I mean, you did see Betfas wins this match, so let's see what he does. Pre-Tesla, love to see it. Again, the biggest tip, guys, that he gave, circling back to that, is cycle your Evos as much as you can, and you saw the Evo Tesla utilization. And especially the Evo Archers, too. Like, even when he had arrows in cycle, Betfas still went for Archers when the opponent was able to go arrows on them, just because they would melt a cannon cart or melt a Mortar. Even by the time they get arrows off, they're still going to get a lot of value. So it's still worth it. And here split Evo Archers is a pretty good play as well, if you don't have like anything intense going on, because they can't really go arrows on both without activating King. So arrows forced out in the other lane, and then Gang comes down. We might see an Evo Tesla by Betfas here for this. I would Evo Tesla if I was him. Yes, he does. And oh my god, that clips the Evo Bats. That is so well played. And now he does go for the Miner on the tower, but it does get caught. Honestly, if I was Betfas there, I also would have gone Knight on the Miner to maximize the lock, and then cycle back to an Expo, go Expo again. But maybe that's hindsight. I feel like if Betfas realized that at the moment, he might have gone for that, but either way, we do see a naked fireball on tower. That is so interesting, guys, because this defensive Mortar placement is so annoying. It's the anti-fireball placement. All the good Mortar players know about it, and you can't hit the weak side tower with the Mortar and the fireball. But Betfas is like, I don't care about that. I'm going to naked fireball tower anyways. So fireball cycle is a pretty crucial part of this matchup, and Betfas just doing that. Also, speaking of Betfas, perfect Ice Spirit there. He is known for these. Betfas and Titan, man, they play their Ice Spirit so well. They hit all 5 bats like 80% of the time. That was so nice. So accuracy very important if you want to play this card. If you guys don't think you can pull off plays like those, please just do yourself a favor and play with the Electro Spirit. It's going to be such a lifesaver. And Prediction Tesla on that Evo Mortar, so impressive. Wow, that is really nice. That's going to DPS it down by about 75% of its HP. And now, as I said, Evo Archers, even though they are going to get arrows off, they're cooking while they can, and that's going to just shut the whole push down. That Prediction Tesla was everything, man. And now we do have an Evo Tesla to basically shut down that Skeles ability, because if you think about it, if that was not an Evo Tesla, that Skeles ability would have actually basically taken a lot of value and forced out Elixir, but because the Evo Tesla was there just kind of sitting there being annoying, the opponent Kimchi here decided not to opt for that ability because it would just die to the Tesla Death Pulse anyways. So yeah, pretty interesting to see. And some Batship does come down in the right, actually. That's a lot of Batship. I hate Evo Bats, man. Tesla in the left to predict another Mortar. Defensive Expo by Betfas. I think that might be the first one you've seen all game. I'm not sure. Again, you do also have to change up your playstyle, guys. I think that's important. Like, notice that Betfas has kind of been doing different things depending on the situation, right? That's a fat fireball if I've ever seen one. Yes, beautiful fireball. Can't really hit the Mortar with it, but it's fine. Expo's going to clear it up. But yeah, notice against Luminary, he got a huge lock at the start, so he went defensive Expos a lot after that, just holding on to his lead. And then in the meantime, in the other game against Brayan, it was a mix of offensive and defensive Expos, because he was like just kind of controlling the game the whole time. It was really nice. And then this game against Kimchi, he was down a lot of Elixir at the start and damage as well. Mainly down damage, actually, so he chose to play more aggressively and got that beautiful Evo Tesla sequenced up with his Expo to kind of get a lot of value and play more aggressively to get his lock and get his damage back. So just a note on that adaptability and how you have to switch it up with Expo depending on the situation that you're in the match. Ice Spirit does come down for the Miner and Skeles as well. Perfect catch on that Miner. Skeles staggered after the arrows come down. And that's actually so important, because I think if he didn't do that, he might have actually lost the game. Like, this is a lot of damage coming in. Fireball log again. And yeah, that literally saved Betfas like 3 Miner hits. So he still would have won, I think. But maybe not, actually. Really impressive, though. Perfect spell cycle. Really good comeback, guys. He was down, remember, like 1700 damage at the start. And he came back. I don't know how he wins this so consistently. Even he is surprised with the WoW. But he won. Very well played, as always. Alright guys, the next game is going to be up against CHN USDT. That is kind of a funny name. Isn't that like USD Tether, the cryptocurrency? I don't want to talk about that, man. I've had some nightmare stories when it comes to crypto. I lost a lot on that back in the military days. But anyways, back to this against this USDT dude whose clan is Riley Loves Moaning. I feel like this might be Nate, because, I mean, that is a clan that Nate would make, and this is the Nate deck. But I can't say for sure, because I don't know if this would be Nate's name. Like, I don't know. This is definitely like a sponsored name, right? This CHN name, but I'm not sure. So we'll just call him USDT, I guess, just because we don't know if it's Nate for sure. And I'm good friends with Nate, so I wouldn't want to slander his name in case it's not him. But yeah, that's going to be a pretty interesting matchup. This one is not really one that you guys have to learn, because no one really plays this deck except Nate himself. And he's like top ladder, and like people, I guess, who are fans of Nate might play this deck on lower ladder, but I personally never see it at all. Like, literally never. So yeah, Naked Fireball Betfas. I think that's a pretty important play, actually, guys, because, I mean, no archers in cycle to split, and then no point just going, like, knight the back and stuff, right? So instead, he just kind of Naked Fireballs a tower when USDT here does not have... Did I call him Nate? I don't even remember. Anyways, when USDT does not have a rocket in cycle to rocket back, just a free fireball on the tower, basically. I think Naked Fireballs in this matchup are pretty big. Like, something I do a lot in this matchup is go aggressively with an Expo, try and force out a rocket if I can on the bow, and then after that I'll go for a fireball on a tower naked after they use their rocket and they can't punish you. Really nice aggression by Betfas, trying to get a lock, good protection of his Expo, forced basically every bit of elixir out of USDT, and no rocket came down, so well defended by him, you know, not using the rocket, just going delivery plus Tesla plus cycle cards to stall out, but still. Now, Miner comes down, Evo Archers will come down to snipe that. I think we'll see an Expo, maybe immediately. Let's see. So, Archers in the left. Will Betfas go with the Archers, or will he go in the right to get some dual lane pressure? Yeah, exactly, guys. I had the right call there. Had a feeling he might switch it up, because the Evo Archers have a lot of potential. Unfortunately, though, delivery is just a free 3 for 3 that invalidates them. But still, you can see that Betfas does not want to give him a free rocket on the Archers plus Expo by just rocketing everything. So instead he split the Expo and the Archers with that dual lane pressure once more. Pretty easily controlled, but still an important principle to notice nonetheless, right? Skeles do come down to catch that miner as well as a knight. Really nice stuff there. And that is going to be a perfectly defended miner once more. Now, Betfas is still down damage, but I feel like the tide is about to turn pretty soon. Rocket comes down on the Xbow, and now USDT is in a bit of trouble because this is a pretty big counter push in the other side, forcing out a lot of elixir. I think we'll see a naked fireball. Yep, because notice the elixir differential, guys. That was a great offensive push by Betfas there, and so he's going to take the lead with that naked fireball. Now notice he's cycling cards near his tower in the back to predict a miner, so just take note of that, and really well defended by Betfas there. Basically only taking one miner hit, and we'll definitely see a rocket come down on all of this, right? That is way too much elixir to let go. Really beautiful fireball. Look at that timing, guys, on that. That's so nice. That does clip the Dark Prince perfectly. So, oh, maintenance break. What the? Okay, anyways. That's not going to affect this replay, I guess. We're going to go for the Skeles and Knight. Again, those Skeles do help catch the miner. So just cycle your Skeles the back, Ice Spirit the back, same lane in this matchup, guys, against miner control in general, because it does help you predict a miner, especially if you know they have miner in cycle. And I think USDT here is going to be forced to go for rockets on the tower pretty soon, because otherwise, I mean, how's he ever going to get damage? And tries to get the Evo Tesla to go on this push, but the Knight is going to tank. Betfas does, I don't know if he caught that miner or not, but still really well defended. USDT is struggling to defend. Evo Archers will melt this now. No log available, so E-Spirit low, and then Xbow can come down immediately for Betfas here, as the delivery does also come down. We'll actually instead see a fireball. Look at this, guy. So Betfas kind of just pressuring, exactly what I talked about, the way I play this matchup. Just pressuring with the Xbow, and then once they are done defending, especially if they force out the rocket on the Xbow, you just fireball the tower. Right here, I think USDT has no choice but to fireball, or excuse me, but to rocket on defense here, because how is he going to stop this Evo Tesla otherwise? I mean, he's going to try, but that's not going to work very well. Like, that's a lot on the board, and yeah, I think he's just kind of cooked now. So really well played by Betfas. I do feel like the Evos help Xbow more than they help miner control in this matchup, because Evo Archers are so good, as well as Evo Tesla, honestly. Evo Tesla is good for both sides, but just look at this pressure, man. You're going to see a fireball and tower again pretty soon, I think. Or maybe even an Xbow, actually. Probably an Xbow, right? I think we'll see an Xbow, and now we'll see 2 fireballs by Betfas. That's probably the last Xbow of the game. He's still up damage, and there's no way USDT can get a rocket on the tower with this pressure. Xbow is already locked, actually, and the other Xbow is also going to lock, and yeah, he's just kind of cooked. That was amazing pressure by Betfas. Really well played against, I would say, not a hard counter, but just an interesting matchup for sure, and beautiful gameplay, of course. Alright guys, so next game we have is against Pompeo, one of the most well-known players in all of Clash Royale. If we take a look at his profile, he has a number 6 global tourney, number 1 ladder, and oh, okay, I don't actually have the capability to watch the replay anymore. I think this is the only replay that I missed, guys, against Pompeo, and unfortunately the maintenance break is going to come down for the Evo P.E.K.K.A, Evo Mega Knight, so we cannot actually showcase the rest of the game. But that's pretty much going to be it for the video anyways. Thank you so much again to Betfas for coming on to the channel and showcasing this beautiful, immaculate 3.0 gameplay, especially against that Mortar matchup, guys. Please rewatch those games and pay attention to how he controls that, because that is actually not a good matchup by any means, and he controlled that perfectly. It was insane, so really impressive to see him win against that. Thank you so much again, Betfas, for coming on the channel and helping us learn from his amazing gameplay. Hope he gets a good finish this season, and hope you guys enjoyed my commentary and were able to learn something thanks to my insight on the game. So that's about it for the video. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.